Companies which offer quick house sales are being urged to make sure their business practices are up to scratch. It's after investigation by the Office of Fair Trading found customers are handing over their home for less than half their market value in some cases. The watchdog has now opened formal investigations into 3 unnamed businesses for alleged unfair practices. We can now speak to Tim Jackson, who's the director of the London-based firm SecureASale. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Paul. Hi.
Could you explain, first of all, how companies like yours work? What do you actually offer the customer?
Well, we offer a service where the customer can basically sell their home quickly, whatever circumstances, if they need to. So there's a variety of reasons why that might be the case. Maybe divorce, or they need to move abroad for quickly, or a job relocation, or bereavement. And we offer a service where we come in and we can buy the home quickly for them.
So if basically people want to draw a line under that particular house, if they want to stop getting, maybe in some cases, further into debt, you'll take the house off their hands, but presumably then you'll take it off their hands and make them an offer that may be less than they might have got had they stuck it out and been prepared to wait for 6 or 9 or 12 months.
Yes, potentially. There is a trade-off with the time and the price you're going to get. I mean, very often our offers are actually very close to what you would get in the open market, but the advantage of using SecureASale or a company like us is that you can sell the property quickly. You're not going to be waiting around for 9 months, as you say, and it's going to be a cash purchase. And, you know, if the house has got problems, which very often they do, such as subsidence or problems with the on the search, we can take a view on those matters and still purchase the home, which maybe a mortgage buyer couldn't do.
Clearly, though, there is scope for dodgy firms to take advantage, are there not?
Yeah, I think in any industry, especially one where there's no barriers to entry, such as this, there is the possibility that people are going to take advantage of vulnerable people. And we've been delighted that the OFT have brought out a report, basically, and you know, because I think, frankly, it's very important as a code of conduct, and that consumers can, you know, absolutely have confidence when they use a firm like ours that they're going to be treated fairly.
Tell us about the risk then, because I've read about one, for example, which is that you get offered one particular amount and then just before you're about to sign the deal, you get 10, 20 grand lopped off.
Yeah, and that's completely unfair. I think it's very important that firms are transparent and stick to what they offer. So I presume that can happen, but, you know, every firm should be putting offers in writing, basically, and the only reason the price should change is if something materially different comes up on a house that they weren't expecting. For example, if you think you're buying a house and it turns out you're actually only buying a flat and the ground floor's not included, and that's fair enough, but generally that's not the case. And, you know, we've never ever chipped a price, and we don't intend to, because we do our research at the beginning, we do our due diligence, and by doing that we make sure we're very fair with the consumer, and I think that's important.
I mean, it's tough though, this one, Tim, I think, because I've been gazundered, as they call it. I was selling a house in Brixton to a young couple. We'd agreed the price, we'd gone through all the you know, the necessary conveyancing stuff and the searches and whatever. I'd already effectively in my mind moved on to the next house, and then 2 days before the final exchange, the estate agent got on, and they were very reputable and just said, look, they haven't been able to get all their finances. They could maybe get another 2 or 3 grand on their credit cards if they maxed out, but it's going to be 7 grand less than I was expecting. And that happens quite a lot, doesn't it? It was quite a tough call for me.
Yeah, it does. It happens in all sectors of the industry. And, you know, whether it's a quick home sale or a standard home sale, and it's unfortunately part of the system that we have here. The system which allows the freedom for people to go and make offers, which is a very positive thing, without having to guarantee an exchange, is also the same system which allows people to gazump or gazunder. And it is, you know, it is unfair and it is tough. And we always say to our, you know, purchasers, or sorry, to our sellers, that they have a choice, you know, and we do give them choices. I think we probably turn down much more business than we actually accept, and we often recommend that people sell via other means, whether it's an auction or an estate agency, because we're not for everyone.
Now, you're working with the Office of Fair Trading, as the Office of Fair Trading we mentioned, to look at how to better regulate the industry. What else needs to be done?
Well, I think a code of conduct and a redress scheme would be very helpful to start with. I believe that the vast majority of operators in the industry are pretty straightforward, but you're obviously going to have people who aren't. And I think it's very important that the honest, straightforward and transparent companies get together, form a kind of association where we can have a redress scheme so that when things do go wrong, which inevitably they can and will, there's a way that consumers can get some redress. So we're looking at forming something in the next sort of 3 to 4 months. We've been speaking to the property ombudsman as well about how we can align ourselves with their system, and we're going to be looking into this very, very shortly.
Meanwhile, what advice do you have for people who are looking for a quick sale?
I think the advice I'd give is, what is the reason you need to sell that quickly? If it really is urgent, you need to sell quickly. Do your research. Find a company that's reputable. Find a company that's got...
Now, how do you find out whether it's reputable?
I think the best way of finding out a reputable company is really to do some research. Lots of companies will be very happy to give testimonials and let you speak to people they've worked with in the past. For example, if people phone us, I will always give them a list of people who we've sold or bought properties from. They can speak to them and get some real feedback. But yes, it is difficult, and that's why I think it's very
And it is
important.
difficult because if you've got a dodgy company, then they presumably they hand on perhaps, I don't know, names of people who don't actually, who haven't sold houses.
I suppose that can happen in any industry, in any sector. I think it's important that, I think that's why it's very important we do have an association, a scheme, which basically shines a light on the beacon companies who aren't operating in a sort of unfair manner.
Thank you for joining us. Tim Jackson there, director of the London-based firm SecureASale. It's now 6:23. It's BBC London 90.